Are just about live. This is Nifty Culture. I'm Pio, and I'm here with my very talented partner, Mr. Mal. How's it going, Mal?
Hey, Pio. I feel like we've talked a lot today, maybe not on camera, but a lot of communication. And we've got like two
Yeah.
more things happening right after this. So it's a full day in NFT topics.
Absolutely. Get used to it, buddy. We're going to keep doing it. After this, I'm going live with Hunter Orell, who's a very cool guy, but he was just in a spaces for like 6 hours on Twitter. So it's just a revolving door of other people, him hosting the spaces and filling in all the blanks. And we have a spaces today at 7 p.m. Eastern. And here's our other partner, Rob. How's it going, Rob?
What's up, Pio? What's up, Malachi?
What's up? Hey, great job on that VV. As someone made comments earlier, real quick, I just have to say this because there was like, it's VV, V-V. I even got an alert now in my email, like for my login, it was V-V. And then I was like, guys, Rob calls Beeple Bleeple. Let's not be hard on him on what he calls it.
Well, apparently we were getting roasted in the official VV Discord for calling it Vive. They were like, what are these clowns talking about? But once they realized that Rob is like the VV Voyager and that he ain't going anywhere, so like the VV community better get used to him. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about Pokemon NFTs. Talk about a big franchise.
Yeah, you guys alluded to it earlier, and like my kids, I made comments earlier that my kids were all about like Fortnite and everything else, but out of nowhere, like they're obsessed with Pokemon cards. And like I have like all these Pokemon cards now. My kids are at the age where they're kind of like all about it, and it's just exciting to see. My first job was at GameStop. Like literally, I was 15 years old, got approved to work at GameStop, the very first GameStop. And I had Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. I was buying Pokemon like cards when it very first started. And so now we're seeing like all these changes. And we wrote this Pokemon article before Pio was even part of the team. And becoming
the good old
like
days.
Before
the channel went to shit.
before we had a channel. I mean, Pio ripped our Band-Aid off and quickly became a partner.
Damn right.
But we wrote this article about Pokemon NFTs and put it on on like Twitter and everything else. And out of nowhere, like 8 people from Game Freak and Pokemon Company and Nintendo, like directors of production, followed us. And we're like, this is interesting. And so we've been toying with talking about Pokemon for a long time. And then 1 second, speaking of Pokemon, I've got a crying boy.
It's all good. I'll pick up the slack. So,
do you know Pokemon, Pio? Do you play in that arena?
Well, when I was growing up, I saw one commenter here said, I'm still all about Swagtrocity. Our homeboy Swagtrocity said, I'm still all about Pokemon. I grew up on them since Pokemon Red. So when I was a kid, Pokemon Red and Blue were the first ones. And then there was like Yellow, and I bought Pokemon cards. I was like 8 years old in 1998. So that was like kind of the peak of the Pokemon frenzy. So I was all about them. NFTs, like my generation, my friend that just started buying, he's calling it Pokemon for adults because it's kind of like the same thing that we had. I'm assuming like you guys probably had more like baseball cards, basketball cards. Was that something that you grew up with?
Magic cards.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's really popular.
Right? Magic the Gathering stuff. That's what I did. Yeah, that's what I had.
Mount Gox.
Yes.
So Malachi, we were just talking about like, how like when you guys grew up, it sounds like it was more like Magic the Gathering, maybe like baseball cards and stuff.
I played Magic as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. For me, when I was 8, that was 1998. So that was Pokemon time. I'm getting a little feedback. I don't know if it's Rob. I'm going to just mute you for 1 second, Rob. Yeah. Rob, if you want to just throw headphones on, bro, that'd be awesome.
I think he's watching the stream while he's talking to us.
Yeah. I need to turn that off.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, what I was going to say about Pokemon is obviously when I was a kid, it was an absolute frenzy. then there's a couple of moments that have kind of shown me the power of the Pokemon collectibles. Is that when I was like 19 or 20, I had a job and my boss's son would come in, and he was like 6 years old at the time. So I was 20 in 2010. And this, the son, little like 6-year-old, 7-year-old came in, and he had Pokemon cards. And I just like, I didn't even realize it was still a thing. And he had new ones that I'd never seen before. So I was like, all right, I guess they've continued making them. But then he also had the OG ones that I had. So I was just like really surprised. He knew all about the ones that I had from back in the day, like that original 150 Pokemon. So that was a big moment. And then the next biggest moment for me with Pokemon was when I was living in Santa Monica, or on the west side of Los Angeles. I was out on a Saturday night in Santa Monica on the pier, and there's that, long boardwalk, right? And there was just a mob of people. This was probably in 2017, 2016. There was a mob of people, more people than I've ever seen on the boardwalk. And they were all looking at their phones. Like literally everyone was just walking, looking at the phone. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I just was so confused. And then someone was like, they just came out with, what's it called? Pokemon Go? Is that what it was called?
Pokemon Go, yep.
Dude, it blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean that they're walking around trying to find, like, I understood the augmented reality part. Like, that's the same thing as Vivi, what Rob's been talking about. But like the fact that many people were all on Santa Monica Pier just because apparently a rare Pokemon showed up is gnarly.
That's amazing, dude. That's what you're going to see with Vivi's application, their platform growth too. They're eventually going to do stuff like that. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be interesting. And I was listening to the stream earlier, but when you guys are talking about Pokemon and like the history, I encourage everyone to go watch that video. But one of the things that's really stood out to me is like, does Pokemon need something like Vivi, or is Nintendo and Pokemon big enough to do it on their own? And so what's really interesting for me is we've alluded to it before, like Counter-Strike a long time ago had their marketplace where this knife was like super rare and thousands of dollars. And it was just a skin. It wasn't on blockchain or anything else, but you could buy skins back then. And when you think about what's going on right now, like blockchain is not only the right medium, but it's also the timing where they can incentivize and actualize this with Pokemon. And if you think about Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Swap is about to come out for Switch, where you're going to be able to pass all of your Pokemon between all the games that you've played and then go out into the real world and do the geofencing and everything else. And like, think about if you could like buy or like get a Pikachu for free, you could level it up. And then you could potentially, just like you did a long time ago with EverQuest and WoW characters, put it on, the Pokemon marketplace, and you could sell that level 50 Pikachu if you wanted to. Like, it's not if, but when. And the biggest sign that we had was that when we posted this article, it's not if, but when, we drew a lot of attention from, the Pokemon team, essentially, that's investigating this. And so it'll be interesting to see those mechanics. I think the VV, I think I called it Vive again, but VV marketplace is slightly different from some of the actual gamification that I think is already being worked on. And I think sooner than later, we're going to see a Pokemon NFT announcement. And that actually brings up kind of why, like, this project that I found, I got to know the developers a little bit behind the scenes, is really interesting for me in this WhelpS project. And once again, this is just we're not pumping, we're not promoting, but this is a new mechanic that hasn't been done before. And that's why I thought it'd be worth bringing up, is that from my understanding, it's the very first evolution-based non-fungible token that's coming to market. And essentially these Whelps are going to be having 5 levels of evolution. So first you get a Whelp egg, and then once you buy it, it's on this 30-hour refresh, and your egg starts with like 2 attributes. So your egg type and your background type. And then when you go through these 5 evolutions, like the egg type determines the type of dragon that you are, and then your background stays constant. So you could have a super rare background in the first 30 hours, and then that background will stay, and then you become a Whelp. And then that like starts working about what your facial attributes look like. And then that stays constant. And then as you become a young adult, and it's all random at each generation 30 hours after mint. And so when you think about the way Pokemon used to evolve, and you think about we're in this in-between period where we haven't reached the true game utility components, you're essentially seeing NFTs now that are evolving over time. And the impact that's going to have on the market is incredibly interesting to me. And they have a ton of artists that are coming in to do guest art, some of the best known names in the space. Spoiler alert, one of them we might be talking to on Spaces later this evening. But it's just a cool concept, maybe, possibly. And for me, like, I'm tired of talking about PFP avatars. I think, I'm still investing in them because I want to make a quick buck. But I think, like, we as a channel should be spending more time talking about utility and really forcing and talking to, innovators in the space about how they plan to add more utility. Mike published last night an update to essentially the Bill of Rights of what we should expect in NFT projects as we transition from profile picture to utility to game to function. And this particular project just stood out to me, and so I thought we'd bring it up now.
Well, yeah, I mean, people love dragons. People definitely love dragons, and they definitely love cartoon dragons. And I think the evolution factor is interesting because we were just talking about Pokemon. So if this is something, my big question is going to be, what's the timeline on the evolution? Because the NFT space is like, it moves so fast and people get so bored. And what's going on, Mike? We're already bored with you. See you later, Mike. All right, yeah, we're done with you, man. NFT space moves fast. Sorry, buddy. What do you think of these whelps, Mike?
I think they're pretty sweet. I haven't bought one myself, but
you can't buy them yet. They haven't got on sale yet. But okay, and that's the thing that's kind of cool is that, and like, there's two components, and now it's going to sound like I'm shilling and pumping, and I'm really trying to not.
We're not endorsing the project.
We're not endorsing the
project. We're covering the project.
The cool mechanics for me are that once you mint it every 30 hours, unique to the dragon, it will go through its evolution, and simultaneously after the game starts. 7 days later, they're going to burn any unsold eggs. And so, like, there's these two unique components going on. And then you think about the market and everything else is, if people like the art, which is what we always say, like, only buy art that you like and would want to hold. And then you think about some of the gamification where people start self-sorting in terms of the attributes they like. It's a cool new take. And, Danny talks a lot about, I can't wait for him to come back from vacation because our Discord's not the same without him. But when you think about the gamification, you think about the deflationary aspects of the goats and foraging, and you think about those types of attributes, like, this is a cool new take. And what's really interesting is I asked the dev hard about the mechanic, and, like, there could be a twin. So hypothetically, in this random minting process, because it's completely random in the way they built the contract, so that you can't snipe from each other and see the future attributes that are going to be displayed, the outcome could be that there could be a twin or even a triplet, but they're actually making that a feature, not a bug, where if for whatever reason the cards fall and there's a few twins or maybe a triplet, is there additional value in that rarity trait because the odds of it having happened are so rare. So it's also a real-time experiment where the outcomes aren't guaranteed. And that's also pretty exciting, but it's also could be cautionary for people that are buying these just to flip them. Did that make any sense?
Yeah,
it made perfect sense. I think we're all just like, we don't know nearly as much as Malachi. I'm listening. I'm like, Jesus, he knows a lot about this. This is awesome. Keep going, buddy. Keep going.
Well, I mean, with the kids and the Pokemon cards, it's like they get excited about Pokemon, and like my oldest, who's still young, is like, he understands now, like, daddy likes NFTs, right? And so, and when I talk to him about NFTs, I describe it as a digital Pokemon card, and he's like, "Oh, that makes sense." And now he wants to go make art and sell it on the blockchain. And with a 12-year-old selling whales, why can't he? But
now, Malachi, have you showed him Uncle Robert's Slimer?
I haven't yet because I can't afford to buy one of Uncle Robert's slammers.
Yeah, but Uncle Robert can come through as the NFT heavy hitter OG and just show up Daddy Malachi.
Yeah, we need to have a meeting of the kids soon.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So okay, but has there been any of these like kind of like card game or table game or whatever you want to call them game style nifty projects that have really kind of withstood the test of time? Like this has got to be about the 20th or 50th project.
People are trying to figure out what's going to stand. Like people are trying to make one that stands the test of time. But I don't think. Yeah,
I'm curious.
It has to turn into a crypto punk at the end of it.
Does it? Though?
That's how we'll stand it.
Like you own other NFTs besides Beeple and Trevor Jones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Mad Dog Jones, right? There's other artists, like I'll always have a top dog in my collection. That doesn't mean it's going to replace my ape, for instance, right? And I think this mechanic, and once again, this isn't an endorsement, like this is a cool new mechanic. It's not designed to be a game yet. It could down the line turn into some of those games. But what I also kind of like about this project is like they don't promise this crazy roadmap where it's like, hey, if we sell at 100%, we're going to create WoW and we're going to usurp Blizzard in terms of what we're trying to accomplish. And so for me, it's refreshing that some of these projects don't have these crazy roadmaps that are promising to be the biggest dev thing in the history of the world or be a blockbuster #1 movie. But by the way, like it would be cool if like the Deadheads did it first, but like what if the Whelps did take off and now all of a sudden there's like a Whelps TV show or like a Whelps animated series? Like that's the thing we don't know about this space. We clearly have no idea what projects are going to be successful and which projects are going to fail. Like we pick them wrong just as much as we pick them right. So it's an interesting dynamic to see. Like we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what influencers are going to get involved. I don't know if it's reassuring or not, but we're clearly not influencers in the success or failure of certain projects. For me being agnostic, I think that's a good thing.
No doubt. And with this project, do we know if this team has experience making other projects or if this is their first project, or do we not know that?
I mean, without like revealing the team in too much detail, and I do owe responsibility to our followers and viewers. This team is incredibly experienced in terms of some of their acumen with smart contracts and otherwise. And candidly, I asked them the tough question of, they'll probably get some scrutiny because during the evolution, like if they built everything on contract, it would be very expensive from a gas perspective. There'd be leakage, et cetera. And so during the process, the files until the final dragon is evolved. So I guess 7 days plus 30 times 5 hours would be the longest that the files actually wouldn't be on IPFS. And that's designed, and the contract won't be fully locked, but that's designed to save insane gas fees if they did it the other way. And so they're a talented team. They know what they're doing. It's just going to be interesting to see if the market responds well or not. And I know Mike is kind of probably like real quick on some of those things.
Mike, let him have it, man. Let's go.
A lot of people do the thing where initially, just in case there's bugs or whatever, they keep their flexibility by not using IPFS for stuff. I think it's more important if you care about whether a project's going to be around for more than a month or so, that they get it to IPFS eventually. So I'm not a super purist there. So I think it's just them being prudent. I mean, you got to leave. There's always the chance of human error. Hopefully everything's really well tested, but people make mistakes. Somebody finds some glitch and exploits it. So it's good to, I think it's really, really common for people to host initially. I think I would say probably most projects do that. So it's all good. So, but at the end of the 7 days, though, everything is fully locked. I mean, that's it. That's basically whatever dragons you got is it.
That I don't know. It says the elder dragons burn all unsold eggs after 7 days. So I guess it's a burn mechanic, which more and more often to encourage scarcity. So maybe Malachi can shed some more light on that.
Oh, and Jake is one of the developers, so he's in the comments. And once again, like I do want to, we're limited on time because PO is going live in 5 minutes with the different lives, or 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, and Jake is one of the devs that I talked to, and once again, I think that so I was wrong on the images are on IPFS, but the metadata will be mutable. So it's a cool concept. It's new. It's unique. I think like. I'm also excited to see how more of this comes into play. I'm interested to see how, Polygon seems to be growing like crazy. Matic, like I know Crypto Raiders is shifting very quickly over to there from a layer 2 perspective with gas fees and those types of concerns. And so what's really interesting to me, and to kind of bubble it back up, is that we saw the apes launch, and then we saw there's this, if you think, and I'm going to use an Ender's Game reference, and it's kind of silly, but like in the book Ender's Game, like the first shuttles that they were building, like they had to stop sooner. And then as their technology advanced, their shuttles could go further. And so like, if we were to use that same analogy, like we're seeing projects that like the team could only take it so far. And like, we're finally reaching like, okay, let's make a apes clone. And now we're starting to see this next generation of projects where they're finding the limitations. They're trying to push the boundaries of what the smart contracts can do without it like being cost prohibitive for everybody. And they're really pushing that envelope. And so this is like a next idea on some of those evolutions, literally. And then as we start seeing, Crypto Raiders and the games actually start coming, I think very quickly over the next 6 months, we're going to see this massive shift for all of these small games. And Axie Infinity's already out, Aavegotchi's already out, but all these other ideas kind of coming to fruition. And then Pokemon and Vivi and all of this corporate money coming in on top. It's going to be really interesting to see, because I think more than one of these projects is going to become a $1 billion brand. It's like Angry Birds was just a joke app on the iPhone, and now they're blockbuster movies. And so these NFTs that start really small do have the opportunity to get very big as well. So it's a long-winded diatribe about like just my excitement in this space and just seeing something refreshing and cool.
No, it's good, man. I love what you said. The Angry Birds comparison is all anybody needs to think about. Okay, like the Angry Birds comparison is exactly what you're going to see in the NFT space, where you see whole media franchises emerge from the NFTs. It's going to be one out of every 10,000 or 100,000 NFTs, or maybe even like one out of literally a million, right? Because there's so many projects coming out. But that one, if you buy those NFTs of that one, oh my goodness, that is going to be like buying Bitcoin when it was 1 cent. That is going to be completely incredible. That's
Micah,
really exciting.
Come on stream with us.
Micah, which Micah?
Micah, the guy you love.
He's in the chat right now?
No, but I'm just saying, like, I'm calling out to the universe. He said he'd come on. But I mean, when you think about, there's going to be $1 billion brand.
Oh yeah, his project could be it, because you're talking about Micah Johnson,
yes,
Aku the Moon God series. He's already been it's already been commissioned for a movie. It's in Christie's right now. It's a 10-part NFT series. I hold 2 of those parts. So if that's $1 billion franchise, I'm going to be in a good spot on it. Yeah, I was going to say, because we got Micah G, who is a longtime supporter. Shout out to Micah G. He goes, I'm a different Micah. Yeah, we weren't saying you guys are the same, man. We know you're your own person, Micah G. Thanks for watching, brother. Sorry, I took the mic there on a little rant, but I mean, I think that the next big franchise is going to come from NFTs, and I also think that it's going to be so fascinating to see Pokemon and these other humongous collectibles franchises ape into the NFT space, and how it impacts mom and pop NFTs. So I tried to ask this of the Deadhead guys yesterday. I feel like they hadn't really thought of it too much. That was a great interview, though, and that's a very interesting project. So take a look at that one for sure. But I asked what they thought about the idea of like Marvel and DC and Star Wars and Pokemon, X-Men aping into NFTs, and if that's going to maybe demonetize the mom and pop kind of projects, which is what we see right now. Because if flippers find more value flipping the Marvel stuff, won't it take away from the mom and pop stuff like whelps like this? So I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think the reason why the bubble hasn't burst the way that it hasn't really, I mean, in the sense that these projects are still mostly selling out, I think it's because there's this community of people who just are hungry for the drama and the fun of these regular releases. So I think it's almost like a meta game that people are enjoying, waking up every day, logging in, finding 3 new projects, like deconstructing them, buying in, flipping, maybe deciding not to buy in. I don't know if you get the same kind of energy in one of these corporate drops where it's like, or maybe you do. I don't know. I think it's just maybe a different mindset. Yeah.
I think like there's always so the analogy that I use is like, we have a lot of artists that we've become really good friends with. And some of those artists get frustrated with the amount of attention that we're giving to these collectibles right now. And the thing we tell them is that these collectors would never have bought their art. It's unfortunate, but these are like crypto bros that got bored with altcoins, and now they saw a new avenue to come in and speculate. And when you think about Nifty Gateway, like a lot of people didn't view Nifty Gateway as we entered that February, March timeframe as art. They saw it as assets to flip and make money. And so there's always going to be that core group of people that act as locusts that are just going to hop from project to project, finding the next big thing to go after. And that's fine. Like that's part of the free market. But then there's also the massive appeal, the laggards, the people that are comfortable buying a VV because they can do it from their iPhone, right? And that's awesome that they can move that many products. And so it's going to be this new medium is going to have this subset of speculators. It's going to have these laggards that are buying from these trusted and true spaces. And there's going to be a lot of opportunity in the middle. And so I think that what's exciting for me is the medium of NFTs exists for everyone to kind of coexist. And there's always going to be this fringe speculative, let's call it gambling area, but there's also going to be opportunities for maturity, like Christie's and Sotheby's and these things. Like they're not going to leave NFTs and go elsewhere. And that art will be expensive and it won't be as speculative, but there will always be some of these gambling components. And Top Shot.
No doubt it. Yeah, Top Shot. Yeah. Any closing thoughts on Pokemon or Whelps?
I'm trying to get the Whelps team to give us a giveaway. If they're willing to do a giveaway, we'll pop it in our Discord. Maybe we'll do something similar to what they did, where you have to post dragons that you like and ours are on Twitter or something. So if we get word back of them giving us one to give away, I'll let y'all know, because that would be a cool way to follow the dynamic.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Cool.
Whelps giveaway, maybe.
Jake just said he'd do a giveaway. So let's go. Everyone join our Discord, put a bunch of dragons in it, and the best dragon we'll tell Jake to give you one. And then like and retweet the show.
Yeah, for sure. I just dropped the Discord into the chat here. We're pushing 500 people in our Discord, guys. It's something that we didn't focus on much at first. We focused more on YouTube, but now we totally understand the value of the Discord and the value for us to be able to, connect with the folks that watch our content. We're 475 members. We'd love to be able to get to 500 in the next day or two, and we're just going to keep pushing. And there'll be more and more giveaways in there. And we post all the content that we put out in that Discord. So, hope to see you guys there. Please like, subscribe, comment. We got Rob doing VV content every week.
Oh yeah.
We got Mike writing sick technical articles that I don't understand, but maybe you're smarter than me and you do understand, so you can look those up. And you got Malachi getting in the Discord, apologizing to people, doing what he does.
I'm really sorry.
Enlightening everybody. No, thanks,
Exactly.
Pio. Great job, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. And Jake said, thank you, NFT Culture, for the project review. We appreciate you, Jake. And yeah, everyone, not financial advice, but we want to objectively cover these projects and give them a platform to present themselves. So if you buy a project and it goes to zero, don't come yelling at me. But we'll always disclose what we buy, and you can just follow me and see all the stuff that I'm losing money on, and you can feel better about yourself too. So
check out our L's on OpenSea.
All right, so I'm jumping on with Hunter Orel, who's a really cool guy. So you guys should watch that stream. That's going to start in like 1 minute, and then at 7 p.m. we are talking to the founder or the artist behind Bulls on the Block NFT, who's like super dope. And
nice.
Yep. And with Danny, and that's going to be on Twitter Spaces. If you're new to this channel, Danny is a very interesting guy. He's like an eccentric whale from Portugal, an international man of mystery. So you'll get a dose of his voice over Twitter Spaces with a very renowned artist that is the artist for Bulls on the Block. So everyone check out
hold on real quick. Sorry to cut you off. We can announce it finally if we haven't already, but Tom Bilyeu, July 27th.
Ooh,
awesome.
July 27th, the co-founder of Quest Nutrition and the host and CEO of Impact Theory podcast. He's got 2 million YouTube subscribers. Tom Bilyeu asked to be on our show, and he's going to be joining us on July 27th. Me, Malachi, Danny, and Tom. Really exciting. And we're also speaking with some other very notable people in technology, specifically one Monday morning that's in the books now. So just stay tuned. A lot of good things coming. Thanks so much for watching, guys.